Hear me, right?
Yes. And we're live.
We live.
We are
Love
live.
being live. Love being live with you, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good.
Good.
What
Oh
is this?
gosh.
What's our intro music now? We
Got
landed on
lo-fi.
something.
I'm like
Lo-fi
I'm
again.
loving it.
Okay.
Lo-fi.
I can dig it.
Do you watch Julian Dory by any chance?
I haven't yet. I hear it's a thing.
It's a thing. He's a thing. He interviewed one of my former colleagues this week, I guess. And it's actually pretty cool. It was a very cool interview. Not that I want people to leave the stream, but I think people should go watch it afterwards. It's Jorge Ventura.
At the end of the stream.
No, I'm not going to promote. I'm going to promote people to like go follow all of us at the end of the stream. He gets a shout out at the start. I think that's very kind of me. I'm a very nice person.
It's kind.
No, I want everyone to go and watch Cassie's stuff after this.
I know.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for tonight because I found out about Cassie through other buddies, specifically Derek, Megalith Marvels. And then I checked her stuff out and I was like, dude, she's going to blow up. And she has.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to get better.
I remember you telling me, like, I vividly remember you telling me, like, you need to go follow this chick. She's going to be the next big thing. And then, like, 2 minutes later,
she's doing the work.
On our show. Oh, so cool.
She's doing the work. And hey, look, she's also a traveler. And I was talking about this the other day with Will and Raul, talking about how there are not, like, I'm not trying to be, hey, yes, we did it. We did another live stream. I was talking with Will and Raul, not anything, but there's not a ton of people that put in the category of like actually going to these places and seeing them in person and being boots on the ground and getting out to crazy locations. And I feel like Cassie is one of those people. So I'm really excited to like talk to a fellow traveler who's going out to some of these crazy. She's going to talk to us tonight about some of that stuff. I already got to see the stuff, some of the stuff she's showing us. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, you got like the cool little teaser. What else do we have to tease and promote today?
Oh my God.
You have all the rules. I've got pregnancy brain. I don't even know where I am right now. I'm just here for the ride, man.
We've got the conference coming up. Tickets are live for Sedona, so people can go get in on that. And I just walked the ACL venue last week. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. So the Austin event conference in October is going to be crazy. Let's pull that up on screen. You can go through my website, wanderingwolfproductions.com, or you can head over to Worldviews Media and get your tickets direct for Sedona. And Austin will be live probably in the next week or two.
Oh, heck yeah. That's awesome. So I want to, I'm still going to hope I can be there for Sedona, but it's still TBD on New Momhood. But Austin is going to be...
You're coming to Austin.
Oh,
I won't take no.
No, we already have it. I mean, I might even bring my parents to the Austin event. Like, I'm trying to talk them into it. Oh, yeah, we'll bring the baby. It'll be me, John. We might even bring the dogs. Who knows? Can't bring the cats. They'll pee on stuff. But Sedona's going to be so good, though. It's a great lineup.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Arizona just has that vibe. It's such a beautiful setting for these kinds of...
Sedona definitely has a vibe.
Yeah, for these kinds of conversations. It's it's so cool. So I'm hoping I can make it.
Sweat lodges and spiritual hikes. It's
so Sedona. You guys are going to do a bunch of mushrooms and go wander through the desert is what I'm hearing. You guys are going to be like, let's go find petroglyphs in the desert and talk to God for like 12 hours.
Vision quest.
Vision quest.
Yeah. That's Vision quest. Oh man, what else?
Great.
I think we've got some tours coming up that we'll be announcing to some pretty cool places. So just stay tuned for that. I don't have anything to announce right now on that, but very soon, like within the coming weeks or two, I think people are really going to be excited about that. And then we're dropping a video here pretty soon that we've all been working on. This is our first video where I think we collectively have really come together to produce this really amazing video from our trip in Egypt that we recently did.
I'm so excited. Like, unless I'm in the hospital, like Sammy's doing, I'm going to be doing a viewing party. My folks are going to be coming out visiting in the next few weeks. Nice. We're going to sit down and watch it with them. I'm going to get them to, well, they watch a lot of your stuff anyway, which I think is super cool. Like, you were the guy that got them into YouTube. So,
really? That's cool.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I got to meet them.
Parents.
Tell them I said hello. And thank you.
I will. Next time you guys do a tour in Britain, I'm going to send them and probably my aunt and uncle. Because my uncle you should hang out with because he's a historian. Okay. I won't be going back to the UK until I'm an American citizen because they will arrest me for my Twitter feed. We all know it, and I'm not
crazy
sorry.
Over there.
It's so crazy.
Oh, let's remind everybody we're moving everything. If you're watching on the main channel, Wandering Wolf, right now, Sammy, will you drop the Wandering Wolf live link in chat? Let's see, and
post that on socials
because we are eventually going to be moving all the we're dual streaming right now to both platforms. But you guys are going to want to make sure you're following Wandering Wolf live pretty soon because all of our live streams are going to be over on that channel. And we had to move things over because YouTube was just like nerfing the account because of live streams. I've never really done live streams. And so once I started doing live streams, it started like really negatively impacting the channel. And then as soon as I unlisted everything and moved it all over to the Wandering Wolf Live, everything like self-corrected. So
yeah, I started checking out a couple of the other people that I watch on YouTube, and I know like on Mondays I'm on the Joe Pag show. I know that he's been having a really tough time with the algorithms. I noticed that Ian Carroll, like he just streams. Oh my God, that dog. Sorry, my New Yorkie is like screaming hysterically in the background at literally nothing. So I apologize. His name is Ice-T. It's a long story.
No, it's not.
My father-in-law comes home with this dog. He's like, "This is Ice-T." No, I noticed Ian Carroll is just doing live streams, but doing it like a long show. And then this other kid that I watch, Scooper of Coop, he unlists all of his lives after doing it, and I was like, wow, thank God for Mike, because I don't understand any of this stuff. Mike and Sammy and Gary for helping.
Well, if you're watching on the main channel, hit that link that Sammy dropped in the comments and head over there and just subscribe and watch it on the live channel, because we will be switching over pretty soon.
Heck
we
yeah.
We don't want to lose you guys. We love you guys in chat.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a huge year for you, Mike. I'm just having like a vibe right now that you're going to look back at 2026 and be like, you know what? That's when it all really started to like come together with this stuff. And like, you've got it pretty freaking together anyway.
Well, I got two badasses behind me now. I mean, you guys know how disorganized I am, so it's incredible that I made it this far. And now I've got you and Sammy. So
we make fun of Mike for being disorganized, but he herds us cats pretty good, you know.
All right.
Yeah, give yourself
to get you out of the earbuds and into some wired headphones. Well, you got into the wired headphones, so done, sorted. Let's hit the ground running.
I got them right here. I got them in the mail at your recommendation.
Stop drinking tap water and we'll be good.
I know. No. Well, let's
get into it.
Let's get into it. We're gonna be digging it. Cassie did an amazing trip recently to Cambodia and Laos. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get a little background, have her tell us her story. Let's bring her in. And if you're not familiar, it's Secrets in Stone. And let's welcome Cassie Coppersmith.
Woo!
Hi, everyone.
Hey. Cassie, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah.
It is an honor. Thank you so much.
No, the honor, the pleasure, everything is all ours. This is like just every week just gets more and more exciting. And this is, yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to talk. You tell us, because you were teasing stuff when we were chatting off screen, and then I got in trouble because it was like, no, let's save it for the stream. And now I'm like, I don't want to know everything. Tell us about
maybe you can tell us a little bit about your backstory. I'd love to know, like, you and I have talked before and hung out, but I the viewers, how did you get into this? Because you've been dropping fire for the last year now, a little over.
I started in April, so a little under a year.
Amazing.
Says it all right there. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And you started in April and just went hard, right?
Most people, it's a hockey stick.
Yeah.
Cassie, it was just straight up, straight to the moon.
Yeah. And I can't explain it. I don't really understand how the YouTube algorithm works. So I don't know. My first video was on this site in southern Bolivia called Samipata, and I released it right before, I'll never forget it, right before Memorial Day. And I'm starting to get this idea that if you post videos right before a long US holiday weekend, they tend to do much better. And so that was just a pure coincidence. But we were in our van, we were in the middle of nowhere, and I was like literally the western side of the Great Salt Lake. And I was holding my phone up in the air trying to get service. And I looked, and suddenly I was like, my video is like exploding. And I didn't know why, I didn't know how, but it just became this like crazy experience where I was like, oh my God, people like this stuff. This is so cool. So it started off with a bang. A lot of it probably had to do with Derek Olson. And I have to plug him. He was the one who got me started in all of this. I did a tour with him him and Hugh Newman in England 2 summers ago. And he and I were just chatting, and he was like, you should do a podcast. And I was like, yeah, right. No way. There's no chance. And he's like, okay, well, at least just be on my podcast. And so that was kind of how it started. Is I knew he was doing a trip to Cambodia. I had been in Cambodia in February of 2024. And I emailed him and I was like, hey, I've got some things that I noticed in Cambodia that I want to tell you about before you go. And he's like, well, let's just do a podcast on it. And being on his podcast was a really cool experience for me. And maybe 2 months later, I started my own. So it was kind of fast. And he's been a huge supporter. He spent an hour on the phone with me, just telling me, here's the software that I find that works. Here's my posting, strategy. It's just, he was very generous.
He's amazing. And having people like that in your corner that are just invested in your success with nothing required is just what's one of the coolest things about this community. We're having him on in a couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys knew that. I think I scheduled him in. So he'll be joining us here in just a few weeks. I love Derek. He's always been amazing to me, and I like his stuff.
He's a good human.
I absolutely agree. So you just hit the ground running, but what got you to that point?
I had the same gateway drug as I think everyone else, which is I went to Egypt. A friend told me about Ben at Uncharted X, so I watched a couple of his videos, and then I read Graham Hancock books, and all of that happened in 2022.
That's the little potion right there. Like
it's the potion.
You just go straight in.
And then and once you see it, you can't unsee it. And in my brain, it just sort of took hold and became this almost full-on obsession. It started with Egypt in 2022. Before that, it was, I had just a normal life. I did a career in finance, started with investment banking right out of college out in New York City, which was a horrible experience, but a really useful life lesson.
Wait, which firm were you with, or were you?
It was a tiny little boutique owned by a woman. It was called Gridley and Company. I'm not even sure if it's around anymore. But I was a small town girl from Nebraska that moved to New York City, and it was quite an experience for me.
Yeah, wow.
100-hour weeks, and yeah, it was a drag, but it was a good experience. I moved back to Denver after New York, and started my kind of career in finance. After grad school, I worked for 12 years at a gold mining company. It's the largest gold mining company in the world. It's called Newmont Mining. And literally in grad school, my only goal was to get paid to travel. And so when I graduated, I was like, how do I accomplish this? I was like, oh, this is a global company who's hiring somebody to do mergers and acquisitions. I'll take that job and I'll fly around the world. And so that's what I did for 12 years.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh. Talk about dreams coming true.
Yeah. It was a very corporate job, but I think where it applies to what I do now is you have to take complex ideas and simplify them. You have to take lots and lots of information and pull nuggets out of them and say, all right, how do I take this super complex stuff and dial it into a 20-minute video for people who aren't archaeologists, and I'm not one of them either. And so that's where I think it ties in for me is, I love diving deep into information and then summarizing it for people and pulling out all the good nuggets. So
heck yeah. So did you find working in a gold mining company, were you exposed to a lot of that more like geological side of things? Or was it more the sort of like aggregating that proxy data and pointing out the stuff that was, like you said, with Cambodia?
We had full teams of geologists and full exploration teams, these global teams. And so I worked with them to the extent that I needed to understand if we were going to buy or sell a mine, because I was in the finance side, what is our due diligence happening? And so there was a geology component of it. There was an engineering component. So I was exposed to those, but I never really took the time to learn, all about geology.
Geology is hard work. It was my worst grade in my associate's degrees. It didn't click for me, but it's like, once you understand that, like, pardon the pun, the surface level stuff, then you can kind of pull it out and apply. But that's, especially the engineering stuff, my brain would melt. But that's kind of cool, like getting passively exposed to that data. I mean,
and if I could do it all over again, I probably would have become a geologist. I think I'm sure most people in this space would say archaeologist, but I feel like that sort of pigeonholes you into a certain way of thinking, that we see all across this space. But geology, I feel like, my channel is called Secrets in Stone because I literally stare at the stones until they give up the goods. Yes, archaeology reports are interesting, and tour guide, this and that is interesting, but I really get into it when I'm looking at the stones and I'm saying what I'm seeing with my own eyes here doesn't make any sense compared to the official narrative. So I wish that I had a deep geology background. I think that would have been really helpful.
I mean, I wouldn't have known that you didn't, I'll be honest with you. You kind of outed yourself there because it just comes across so fluidly in your work. I got a natural sparkle for it. So what happened next? You're working for the gold mining company. You go on the tours.
I worked there for 12 years, traveled the world. And then one day, sort of in my late 30s, I was just over it. I was tired of being in corporate America. I was tired of, the politics and the hours and feeling honestly like what I did every day didn't really matter that much, at least not to me. It was a great paycheck. It set me up for a very comfortable second half of my life, but I didn't really want to spend another minute doing it. I wanted to spend my time doing something else. So there was about a 3-year period between when I stopped working in corporate America and when I started this podcast. And during that time, I did a lot of soul searching. I did some vision quests. I did all the things, lots of yoga, lots
You
of
went
hiking.
to Sedona, didn't you?
I did go to Sedona, yes, and other places. Yeah, and it's.
I'm hearing a hint of a Sedona and a hint of Peru maybe in there.
Yeah, a little skosh.
Yes, I have had my time as a psychonaut for sure. But the first vision quest I did, actually there were no psychedelics involved at all. It was a traditional Native American style vision quest where you literally just go into the desert in Southern California for 4 days, no food, no water. You sit on top of a mountain and you just listen to God.
Oh, I love that.
And that was a really healing experience for me. That was only 2 months after I stopped working.
Wow.
Yeah, so I took my time. I have, since gotten involved in a nonprofit. I'm on the board of a nonprofit. I take care of border collies, and now I'm really just invested in this channel now. I mean, it's the thing that I love the most.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I mean, clearly those 4 days, God handed you or opened the door to what is this incredible, like, it's your gift, really. Like, that's the most incredible part of it. I think anyone watching you, like we were saying, for most people, it's a hockey stick curve. You went straight to the moon, which I just think, yeah, there's nothing that can do that other than you finding your purpose. So we're all very grateful.
Absolutely.
That we get to watch.
Yeah, it's a special thing to live in alignment. I don't think very many people get to do that, unfortunately. And so I feel extremely blessed.
How'd you find that period of time from quitting that career job and that space of, it sounds like maybe you knew, or did that take you a little bit of time?
No. Yeah. I mean, it took me,
and how did you navigate that?
Yeah. I mean, the first year was literally just resting and recovering. I mean, honestly, I slept a lot. I read a lot of books. I did a couple Vision Quest kind of things, but it was purely rest. We still traveled. We've always traveled, and we always will travel. That's a huge part of my life. So it was, a year and a half into my healing after corporate America that we went to Egypt. And it was another, 2 years before I started the channel. So it was just a lot of, it's interesting what happens when everything goes quiet. You can finally hear, you can hear your soul, right? So
I get really interested in in that side of things, because I went through the same thing, and I find that a lot of people, when they're coming out of some kind of corporate job that maybe they're burnt out of or they're just sick of doing, it takes that year of rest, because that's what I took a year of rest for me. And I think it was another year before I started traveling and kind of finding a way and it clicking that this is what I wanted to do and going to these places. And I've heard that similar story from a lot of people who've tried to transition into pursuing something that they're passionate about. And so I always find that interesting, and wanting to share that also with people who, anybody might be thinking about doing that, is allow yourself the time to rest, and don't be so hard on yourself. If you're making a big change, like, you have to get somewhere right now. Because I felt that, but then had to try to force myself to just rest and relax and breathe, and let that, however many years working in some kind of corporate position or whatever it is, become the past and background noise, right? And let it go.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I think it's also okay for people to not pursue their passion full time right away.
Right.
Don't force your passion to make the money for you. It takes a lot of the pressure off, and it gives you really good life perspective, I think, if you're in, you're in it for a while, doing something that maybe isn't your passion, but you've always got an eye toward, all right, this is the life I actually want. If you don't have the financial pressure, if you have the lessons that you learned from being in that world, I think it makes it all the more sweet when you're finally actually able to live in alignment.
Yeah, that's kind of what I told my husband when we first met. He had quit his very corporate 10-year career. I think maybe even like less than a month before we met. And so I remember on our first date, him being a little bit like, oh, I don't really like work right now. Like, is that going to be an issue? And he had already told me about his corporate career. And I was like, you need to take at least a year off.
Yeah.
Like, you need to just do nothing. Like, you need to focus on you. You need to focus on figuring out what, if anything, you want to do with the rest of your life. If there's nothing that's like really calling to you, take even longer, hang out. You've set yourself up well. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a hypocrite because I would like work in bursts. I'd be like, I'm going to work really, really hard for like 3 years, and then I'm going to do nothing for like 2. And then did the same kind of thing. Actually, really up until like I started working with Mike. I think like just before COVID got dragged back into everything. And I think a lot of people, particularly in this space, because there is a certain degree of uncertainty for like jumping in with both feet. I think Michael Button is probably one of the only people I've ever spoken to who quit and then went and did the thing. Am I wrong in that? Like he quit and then immediately he had a little bit of overlap, right? Okay, yeah.
But now he's just
he's doing amazing.
I mean, he's
we don't worry about Mike
dropping like some professional video. It's that he's gonna hit 1 million subscribers for sure.
Oh, easily, yeah. But I think like it is one of those things. But everyone that we've met, or certainly that Mike's been able to bring into the orbit within this space, it's that like that part of the story is probably one of the most beautiful. And I want to know, Cassie, what stones were you staring at? Do you remember where you were, what was going on when you realized that this is when was your aha moment?
Well, so I was learning about the Graham Hancock stuff literally at the end of my Egypt trip. So I wasn't there yet in Egypt, and I'm dying to go back because I feel like I would look at it in a totally different way. But soon after we went to Egypt, we, when the obsession took hold, the first trip we took was Bolivia. And that was, I mean, everything in Bolivia is completely mind blowing. And so, at Pumapunku, Tiwanaku was particularly interesting for me because you can tell that the huge standing stones at Tiwanaku are incalculably ancient. And then you can see the rebuilt stones in between those big standing stones. And you can see that, the stairs are all worn. And so you can see the juxtaposition between the really, really old stuff that's original and the new stuff. So I think that was probably the first moment for me where I was like, this is completely different. And I can tell the difference just by looking at them. Yeah. And that, of course, that skill, once you've been to so many ancient sites, you can almost tell immediately when you walk up to a site what's old and what's not, despite what the kind of official storyline is.
Yeah. There's a lot of that at Cambodia.
So much of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're going to get into today?
Yeah. Speaking of which.
So Cambodia is, it's not as glamorous as Egypt or Turkey or Peru, I don't think. You don't see people go there as much. You don't see people talk about it as much. But I really believe that it is one of the most mysterious places on Earth. And I think that it is under-researched. I think people haven't paid attention to it. The official storyline has just been accepted. People go see Angkor Wat and they're like, oh man, that's such a beautiful temple. It's the world's largest temple. But I mean, you start peeling back the layers in Cambodia, and I think it's actually more interesting than most of the places that people spend their time on. And I think that if we got the collective brain power of this space focused on Cambodia, I think it would really change the official history of the world. I mean, it's got stuff that you don't see anywhere else in the world.
Cambodia is one of those places where there's so Cambodia is literally the only place where I've been traveling and documenting sites, and I've been like, this is too much. I'm on temple
temple
overload.
fatigue.
I've seen enough ancient sites. I need a break. So I was there for like 2 weeks, and by the end of it, I was like, I need a break from walking around ancient sites. And I've never felt that way or said that on a trip or traveling anywhere.
Yeah.
It is just a mind-blowing amount of ancient sites and artifacts and things to see. Everything that you're looking for, these stone features that we see all around the world, and we equate to these, this worldwide connected civilization and these features and different things. It's all on display in Cambodia.
Yes.
All of it.
Yep.
So what was that like?
The temple fatigue is interesting because to me that's just so much opportunity, right? I've been there twice.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks now total, and I feel like I've just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
You can go back and have a different trip every single time because there's and see totally different things and discover different things, and you'll never run out of things to see.
You can take dirt roads off into the middle of nowhere and just find structures that are unmarked and undocumented. You can look on Google Earth. You could do this right now. You could go look on Google Earth, and you can find structures in the jungle out there that are not documented.
Yep.
And you can find, because of their intricate water management system that they had there, you can find lakes and see that they were actually man-made, and they're not labeled because they're giant rectangles. So you already know.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they call those.
The berets.
What's that?
Berets. Barays.
Berets.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I mean, you can be walking across streams and see carvings in the water and stuff like that. It's wild out there.
Yeah, and
the food's great.
They thought they knew what they had too, and then in 2012, Damian Evans decided to do a LiDAR campaign, and they realized they had no idea what they had. Mm-hmm. It uncovered just so many absolutely insane things that are completely unexplainable. They're so mysterious that I feel like archaeology has specifically tried to not talk about them because it raises so many questions.
It does. Cambodia has a lot of things that clearly connect it to other cultures as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a very difficult problem for archaeologists to deal with.
Yeah. God forbid they should have to rewrite their textbooks with new data.
God forbid. Yeah. Well, let's get into that. I know you have some stuff to show us. Maybe we can we'll get that going. So I think the chat's kind of getting into it, it looks like.
I can't see the chat.
I can't in our screen either. I don't know what's going on. I tried to fix that earlier, so I can only see it on the actual YouTube, but I can't see it in our thing.
That's okay. I'll just be surprised by all the difficult questions. That's good. You can throw them at me anytime you want.
Perfect.
Yeah. Sammy, can you see the chat?
I can't see it in StreamYard, but I am in all of the chats at the same times on YouTube. So I will be saving questions and then just read them. We won't be able to pull them up on screen, unfortunately, but I will be able to just I'll share them with my voice.
Okay. I don't know what is going on there. That's the first time we've had that problem. So
yeah, that sounds like a StreamYard glitch. That's like if we're all having it, that's a StreamYard issue. None of us has ever done anything wrong.
It must be the technology.
Yeah,
it's not us.
No, could never be. So what are we looking at here? Dating method for inscriptions. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spend a long time on this because it's sort of boring, but I think it's a good background. In short, the official Cambodian timeline is effectively 600 AD to 1300 AD. So they say that everything that was built there was built within that time frame by the Khmer people, and then the people, this culture right before the Khmer is called the Chenlas. So the way that they date these sites primarily is through inscriptions, which is what you see on the screen right now. Oftentimes they're standalone pieces of stone that they find at the sites, like the two photos on the right. Sometimes it's inscribed on the actual temples. And it has become almost exclusively how everything in Cambodia is dated. There's some carbon dating that happens. I've looked into those reports. It's very suspicious what goes on there. And
how so?
So did you guys watch, and no problem if you didn't, did you watch my Cocaire video?
No, I haven't. Okay. I've seen that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, so no, it's it's totally fine. In the recent video that I released in Cocaire, they did some carbon dating. So they drilled down into one of the water features, and they drilled down 7 feet. And as they drilled down, it got older and older and older. In fact, it got older than the official dating of the site by a couple hundred years. And then they stopped drilling. So they didn't drill into any virgin soil to say there was nobody living here before this time period. They just drilled as deep as their 7-foot drill would go, and they stopped. And they said, well, this validates the dates of the site. This is what we thought. And they just left it alone, even though they were pulling dates that were very, like, a couple hundred years older than even the official dating of the site. They just sort of
the official dating of the site
over it.
Based on these that you're showing here.
Based on the inscriptions.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and that happens across Cambodia. Anytime that there's actual dating, most of the time it disagrees with this official dating. And most of the time it's just swept under the rug. Nobody talks about that. So am I driving this? Yes. Okay. So one of the assumptions, so this was one of the first things that, can you see my mouse on the screen?
I don't know if I can.
Okay. That's okay. I'll just describe it.
Okay.
Moved around again? No.
Okay. So in the Chenla kingdom, which was the one that predated the Angkor Wat, or the Khmers, they say that the Chenla built with brick. And so a lot of the brick structures in Cambodia is officially dated to older than the current, sandstone and laterite structures. And the thing that really woke me up in Cambodia is I was looking at this photo on the right is at one of the pyramids. And I noticed that there was sandstone and laterite underneath the brick structure, that it had these beautiful ornate doors, sometimes false doors, sometimes not, with brick overlaying the top of it. And this is what you see all over the country. You don't see standalone brick structures. You see brick structures wrapped around what looks like older structures. So I personally believe, and I can't prove this, that the brick is simply a repair job from a later civilization.
I mean, isn't that what we see, like, everywhere?
We're doing it now. They're doing it to the Sphinx in Egypt.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, you see it everywhere. And, even one step further, I believe that the people that were building with brick were unable to replicate the original stuff. So, here's 3 examples that I showed of what I believe they were trying to recreate, but didn't know how to. So they just built it in brick, and it's like a facsimile of the original.
So hinting already at lost technologies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the official archaeological timeline is that we couldn't do complicated things early in our timeline as humans. And then as the timeline progressed, we got better and better at doing things. I think sites like these show that it's the reverse, right? You can see this very complicated stonework happening in our deep antiquity, and then you see later versions of it replicated, no different than what you see in Peru.
That's wild. And it is so glaringly obvious. Like, it's sort of hiding in plain sight, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another example of on display of the older and further back you go, the more advanced the work is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the case with ancient sites like this everywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I absolutely 100% agree with you on the brick and stuff like that. That these, I mean, it seems like if somebody moved in and wanted to use these, if you're basing everything off the assumption that a lot of these ancient sites are like much older than we think, and there was a cataclysm, and then people found these ancient sites that were destroyed, knocked over, and tumbled, which you see often at so many different places around the world. But people came in and wanted to rebuild it. I mean, you're looking at lower level construction of what that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, that is what we believe, but the official archaeologists don't agree with that anywhere. So they don't look at the megalithic stones in Peru and say that must be an older civilization. I did an episode in Yemen where you saw this beautiful stonework, and then you saw, bricks and things like that on top of the stonework. And in the archaeological reports, they say, well, the big stones were needed because it was the base of the building and it needed to hold the building up. And then as you moved up the building, you can change the stonework because it doesn't need to support as much. And so that's how they, in some of these reports, explain away stonework that looks very, very different just in one site is, well, it was just different building materials that they used, but it was all the same culture.
We literally have records going back. Like, I remember, Mike, when we were working on your speech for the conference, I mean, there were people reconstructing ancient sites. I forget the guy's name. It was long and like a mouthful. But, over 1,000 years ago, literally, I think it was like, I can't remember if he was a Roman or a Greek.
Yes.
But,
I mean, tourism isn't some modern thing. Tourism has been going on for thousands of years. The Romans were doing tours over to Egypt to check out the pyramids and stuff back in the day. So there's been reconstruction going on for thousands of years. And when you walk among some of these places, especially, when I walk around in Egypt, my feeling is that the graffiti and stuff doesn't match the level of sophistication. What did I just say? The hieroglyphs. I said graffiti.
Yeah,
same thing.
Giving teasers for the next video.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that belongs with the level of sophistication at some of the sites and the stonework. You're telling me that you can cut these perfect megalithic blocks, stack them into these massive walls with these huge structures, and then you're going to do hieroglyphs across the side of it that aren't even in straight bands and perfect lines, right? It just doesn't add up, and it doesn't make sense. It's the same thing, it's a great, you have it on display all over Peru where, these bases, and Baalbek as well is another great example where these massive stones, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. And so it's not even that the stones get smaller, it's that the stones don't even fit together. Well, so you're telling me you can take, some of the largest stones, like Baalbek, for example, that have ever been moved and placed and cut, and they fit perfectly together, and they're just these practical works of art and how they're formed and fitted. But then the next level up, these smaller stones, you're saying that this culture couldn't do the same thing with smaller stones, or that they didn't care after putting that much work into the bigger ones. So it's just wild.
In these pictures on the screen, they're saying that they could build with the sandstone, they could build these super intricate columns that are completely unexplainable, but then they just chose to build those and then switch over to brick to finish it off.
Like, that doesn't happen anywhere, even in
doesn't make any sense.
Architecture.
No.
Like,
and
that literally
look at that doorway right there. I mean, it's just, they don't align.
No.
Yeah.
the
As
brick
Ben says, the tale of
so,
two industries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
What does it
And so
feel like? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what did it feel like when you sort of put this together? Like, I know, you know, from working with Mike, how frustrating and like heartbreaking it is. But what was it like for you the first time you kind of noticed that juxtaposition, as you put it, which I think is like the best word ever?
It was
One of my favorite
exhilarating.
words.
It was exhilarating because you don't read about this stuff anywhere. So you're literally, you're sleuthing, and it feels like you're discovering something all over again that nobody knows, right? So I feel that way at all of the Cambodian sites. I'm like, what mystery am I going to almost uniquely understand because I have been to this site and I've looked at this and nobody else knows this. So that's how I felt. I mean, and it's addictive.
Good. Well, I'm glad it's addictive. Like you said, like you got into this addiction through all the right pathways. And it's definitely paying off.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting about this storyline that we see here is that what it has done is it's completely destroyed, in my opinion, the official timeline of Cambodia.
Yeah.
So you'll see sites with bricks and they'll say these sites are older than the pyramids. And once you start looking at some of the things we're going to talk about today, which is, you know, some of the lathing technology, some of the super precise statues that were built, you see that all of the most sophisticated stuff is at the pyramids and a couple of other sites. And it allows you to create this new theory that, okay, let's just pretend that none of this has ever been dated. Let's start completely over. And let's talk about which ones we think are actually the oldest. And let's use evidence to try to prove that. What you start to see, you know, these spindles that you see in this middle picture, those are lathe cut, extremely precise spindles. When you see these spindles, you can't unsee them. And then you start to see them at all the different pyramids. You see them at Bantier Srey. So it becomes this theory that you can almost prove out by going to the different sites and saying, well, these spindles actually look really old and these spindles look middle-aged. And so at least relative to each other, you can start to create a pretty complex theory.
That's so cool. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Well, just want to say one other thing too, and maybe you noticed this as well, that, you know, I did this video a little while back on exposing the dark side of archaeology, like reconstruction stuff that was going on. You know, I took this shots and video from the last almost 10 years of exploring sites. And Cambodia is one of the most, you know, it has some of the worst examples of reconstruction going on there. You know, there was videos, clips that I dropped in that main video of day workers taking stones and cutting them up with modern stone saws and then placing them into a wall with no organization or trying to put them back together. So you'll walk across stuff in Cambodia that is rebuilt, and I think the average person wouldn't know it, but you're just looking at stuff, because you'll look at stuff that's just, they took from collapsed walls and piles and rebuilt it how they could with no real, just to make that wall.
Yeah.
The goal was to make the wall, not to put the stones back where they belong. And they're cutting them down and doing stuff as well. So it's like you see that all over, and you see pieces that should be, you know, it should be somewhere else being repurposed for. I think you posted this actually of something being used as a step.
This week I posted that actually. It was these giant monolithic pillars that had been turned on their side and turned into like the new walkway.
Yeah.
And my point was the same as yours, Mike, is it better to just leave them? Don't try to pretend there's something that they're not.
Yeah.
Create a wooden walkway if you need to, but don't take these pillars and turn them into the walkway.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we can have the conversation about reconstruction of sites, but when you're taking something that clearly was used for something else and turning it into a step, I think most people any reasonable person that cares about our history would have a problem with that.
Yeah, that goes beyond reconstruction. I mean, that's just full blown manipulation.
Yeah.
And you think we're here right now looking at this stuff. What about in 1,000 years' time? How much does that action we're being misled by the sites that we see today. How much are we doing to mislead the sites that are, all future generations will access? How much are we now lying about our history in real time through that repeated practice? It's pretty dark, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
You have to actively try not to think that it's a giant conspiracy.
Everything's a conspiracy.
Everything. That's a great point.
I know. I think so too, but I try not to say that too often because it makes me sound
like me.
So do you guys want to talk more about the technology, or do you want to jump into some of the LiDAR results?
All of it. Like you lead us, because I'm feeling like I'm along for the ride with this one.
I agree with you.
And I love it.
So let's quickly talk LiDAR. This is just a picture that shows the amount of land that was scanned, which is, Angkor Wat is just this, it's that yellow spot that says Angkor. That's all of Angkor Wat, Angkor Thom, all of it. So they scanned a huge amount of land when they did these surveys. And the stuff that they came up with, again, it created a little bit of buzz right when it was released, and then nobody talked about it again. So this is Angkor Wat from the air. And there were two things that were discovered. One is that there are these huge mounds all around the center of the temple inside the moat. And these mounds are like 30 feet wide, 10 feet high. They're huge, these occupation mounds. We actually had an opportunity when we were in Cambodia with Derek on his tour. We schlepped out to the jungle and tried to look for these mounds, just southeast of Angkor Wat Temple. And we found them. And they're very difficult to see from the ground because they're so big. So you'll be walking and you'll suddenly be like a lot higher than the rest of the ground, and then you'll be a lot lower. And so you can tell when you're on them because you're looking around and you can see, really, really far, but it's very difficult to see from the ground. So it's not surprising to me that they didn't know that these were there. And then of course the spiral embankments to the south of Angkor Wat, that's a mile wide. It's half a mile long.
It's amazing.
These things are, 5 feet tall. And as far as they can tell, they're just earthen. They're made of earth. They've excavated into them and didn't find anything of any substance within them. So, this wasn't a garden. This wasn't a staging area for building Angkor Wat, which is what some of the archaeologists have said that it was. We don't know what this is. It's a true enigma. And as far as I know, these aren't anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the kind of design and pattern on them, I can understand why they would say garden, because, at least in the UK, we have all these old manor estates, and they would build, even the botanical gardens in the town I grew up in. That's sort of the process that they use for the sort of flower designs throughout the different seasons. And I mean, if you've already got a moat, do you really need something like that as a form of aquaculture, things like that? I don't know. I don't know.
Are you familiar with the, I've seen a lot of really interesting, which I really liked, was work proposing that all of these sites were used for energy, and that these sites are very much laid out like computer chips.
Circuit board. Yeah.
Circuit board.
Yep.
Same with Mexico with Teotihuacan.
There's a nuclear site I think it's in Florida, And the cooling ponds, the way that they've set up the cooling ponds for this nuclear site look almost identical to this.
Amazing.
Whoa.
So, was Angkor Wat originally something energy creating, and was there a cooling mechanism with this moat around it and these spiral embankments? You have to, after I released my LiDAR episode, I heard from a lot of computer engineers and people like that, and they're like, this looks exactly like a circuit board.
Right.
So it's very intriguing. They also found, so this, you can see where I've marked the Eastern Beret. That's it's 8 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide. So these berets, these water features were massive. And just to the east of it,
and these are man-made, just to let people know that are watching. So you're talking about an 8 mile long, 2 mile wide, man-made water system.
In order to create this, you would have had to excavate 53 Giza pyramids worth of dirt to make one of these. Where did all that dirt go?
Yeah,
we don't know. Just east of this beret is a mound field that is clearly, it's a mile long. It's 100 different mounds. They excavated into these. There were no occupation layers even at the top of them, so it wasn't a residence. It wasn't a habitation mound. It's just completely unexplainable, and it keeps going, right? So here's another site where you see these spiral embankments just to the south of it. Here's another site where you see a mound field surrounded by embankments right next to an ancient dam they didn't know existed until they did the LiDAR. Here's another site with more spiral embankments. So what's interesting is if you look on this slide, this was another one of my exhilarating aha moments. All of the spiral embankments that they found by using LiDAR are in almost a perfect line.
Wow.
From the far, Priakan complex way to the east to Bang Malia in the middle to Angkor Wat, it's in almost a perfect line, and these spiral embankments are at all of those different sites.
And I mean, the only time you ever see mass features like man-made features like this, and what is the scale between sort of 1 to 4? So it's 500 meters each, so 2,000 meters. Wait,
those are just these photos. So it's like more than 100 miles between Angkor Wat and Priakan.
So that's Megalopolis, or the only other place that you see that in modernity would be somewhere like, the Permian Basin in West Texas, which isn't even, I don't think, to the same scale, like that kind of mass infrastructure, which is, I don't know, that's so cool. It's making me think that in 1,000 years' time, they're going to find our old smokestacks at the the nuclear facilities and be like, it was a temple, and it's just like, don't breathe too heavily in here. It's really
the king was buried there for sure.
Yeah. There's going to be some guy being like, buy my book on it.
Yeah.
But that's incredible.
And what's crazy is this information is not publicly available. So you have to hunt and peck to find these photos in just a small number of research reports that were released. Now, the official reason for this is that they don't want sites to be looted. So they don't want everybody to know where all of the undiscovered temples are, which fine. But if you actually go and you do a deep search of the number of research reports that were produced where they were actually talking about this stuff, it's like 8 or 9 research reports. It's almost nothing. And the archaeologist who was in charge of this LiDAR campaign, unfortunately last year died of cancer. So now there's nothing happening in the LiDAR space. Nobody talks about it. None of the data is publicly available. So all of the slides you see here, I've pulled out of research reports. I believe I have found every publicly available LiDAR photo, and I've put it all into one PowerPoint like a huge nerd. But it's just, you can't go into a database and just start mining it. You can't do that. Like here, for example, this is Angkor Wat, right in the middle, and the hill to the back, there's a temple on top of there. There's a pyramid on top of there. And that temple, to me, that hill sure looks man-made.
Mm-hmm. It's very out of place.
Yeah. And it's hard to tell when you're there because everything's covered with trees. Phnom Penh, the famous pyramid with 108 towers, that's on top of this hill.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ask the question, where did all the dirt go that they used to create the berets and things like that, I feel like it's right there.
Yeah.
It's this giant man-made hill. And when you go on tours, the tour guides specifically use the word natural hill anytime they describe it. But when you look at LiDAR, it feels like there's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's too much dirt to just disappear. Like that's too much dirt to excavate. My last house, our landlord was a psychopath and he bussed in. I mean, trucks were coming and going for months. And just dumping dirt out the back of our pasture. He actually got in a lot of trouble for it because it was like a natural wetlands that he basically tried to pave over. And seeing that much material get dumped and flattened, there was a part of me before you showed that picture where I was like, well, if you excavate that much dirt, you can use it to kind of reconstruct the landscape. You flatten it, you can tread it down. But then when you look at it like this, it's like, no, I was wrong. That is an absurd amount of dirt. Yeah. There's no way that could go missing.
Well, and think about how long it took your neighbor with how many dump trucks to do that amount of work.
And it was nothing.
This is on a totally different scale.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to comprehend. Like, I'll be honest with you, like how massive this is. Well, and that's not an archaic civilization that does something like this.
And this is something that is another similarity between sites around the world is sites being excavated, carved out, whatever. And then there not being any trace of the Long Caves is a perfect example. There's no, I don't know how many, thousands of tons were excavated from Long Caves, and they've never found all the excavated dirt and sandstone, limestone, whatever. There's plenty of places around the world at these ancient sites where that's the case. We just don't find it, or we're not looking correctly and attributing the right things to something like a massive hill right here in the middle of otherwise virtually flat land.
Yeah. It's the same mystery in the United States with the mounds. I know you had Greg Little on. Where did all of that earth come from that created all of those mounds? There aren't massive holes next to these huge earthen pyramids. It's a mystery. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Huh. And the determination just to build that. Yeah. Wow.
Oof. The last slide I'll show you, and this is just this is something I discovered after my last trip, so I'm planning on hiking back there next time I'm in Cambodia. But in Angkor Thom, so the Bathwan Pyramid and Bayon Temple, the famous one with the faces, those are both pointed out in this map. Look at the robot-like structure west of it. That is completely covered in grass and trees. You can't see it. Nobody goes back there. You tour the Bathwan Pyramid, and then you just walk right back to the Terrace of the Elephants, and you get back in your tour bus. Nobody ever talks about the fact that is behind that pyramid, and that pyramid's huge. And so the structures behind it have to be 2 or 3 times as high, just looking at the topography changes there. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is that structure is in perfect alignment with the Eastern Beret. So if you follow that line directly east, in fact, I actually have super nerded out. So the Beret is,
West Mebon Beret Temple.
Yeah, so Bathwan Temple in the middle. The line just goes straight through the Eastern Beret. So you can see, if you go just east of this, it goes right to the center of the Beret. It's all in perfect alignment, just past another huge pyramid to Cow. It's all in perfect alignment, and it's all of those oldest sites. It's all of the pyramids that have this incredible alignment across the Angkor landscape, which is what I'm trying to show with this map here. When you start to pick out the sites that you think are the oldest, or that I think are the oldest, and you drop pins, they all are connected. Which is, again, if you look at the official history of Cambodia, it doesn't really make any sense that those alignments are the way that they are, because theoretically they were built over the course of 400 years. This pyramid was built in 1100 AD. This other pyramid was built in 900. This was clearly a deliberate setup from the beginning. And all of these oldest sites are very, very well aligned.
Amazing.
That's incredible. Had you seen any sort of maps annotated like this prior to creating them? Because you should probably put some watermarks on them and start doing your book.
So Derek told me to. Yeah.
Derek's in the chat right now.
Is he?
Yeah, or I'd bring him up, but our chat is down on the StreamYard for some reason. But yeah, Derek's in the chat. Hey, what's up, Derek?
Hey, Derek.
Yeah. So Derek and I had all of these conversations. We, one day I was like, I think that hill might be man-made. And he's like, wow, what? So these are things that I'm actually just talking about. This map I pulled together after we got back from our tour. Because I was just curious. I was like, these are the sites I think are the oldest based on the things I saw there. And sure enough, they're all aligned.
Wow.
Amazing.
So.
That's incredible. What an amazing discovery.
Yeah, and I don't think I know people aren't that aware of the LiDAR work that's been done over there. And so that's really, really cool to be able to show that and really get that different perspective on these sites. The one that you showed, can you bring that up again? The one with the hill? That is just so cool.
It's so beautiful.
Now
what's interesting is, that hill is supposedly natural. But if you look at the bottom right photo, you can see the wall, the square wall around it. Mm-hmm. And then if you look east, there's this causeway that you can't see today because there's a big parking area in front of it with water features on both sides of the causeway. That's just north of Angkor Wat. So none of that is on the tourist itinerary. You can't go there unless you're just walking out there on your own. And so what it looks like when you're at Angkor Wat is that there's just this huge mountain next to you and there happens to be a temple on top of it. But if you zoom out like this, you can tell, it is, and it's perfectly aligned. So the pyramid on top of this hill is in direct alignment with the other pyramid that's on the southern side of that robot feature. They're exactly aligned.
Wow.
Because I imagine that hill there is completely covered in trees.
Yes. Yeah.
And and I can't remember the name. It's been a few years since I was out there in Cambodia. There's a site up north. I think it's the largest pyramid in Cambodia. And you get
Kokhair.
Yeah, and you get a good view of like all the surrounding area from up there. But it's all just trees, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't make out the landscape even from above without doing something like this with LiDAR.
No. And in a lot of ways that was really good for the official archaeological story. But as soon as they did this, I don't know how everybody's not talking about this.
Well, probably because they rewrite books.
Yeah. And they have a tendency to eat their own in terms of if you go against the grain. Yeah, they're their own worst enemies if someone in the archaeological community steps out of line.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you get your career destroyed. Yeah. You don't get published. There's a lot of incentive to not go against the mainstream story, which is why I think the work that people in this space are doing is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cancel us.
Exactly.
We're self-funded.
It's a nice feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. It is kind of wild though to think, like, just going back to, you know, Cambodia is a jungle in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. We have a sort of saying in North Carolina, like, we don't have any ghost towns in North Carolina, because the minute you leave somewhere abandoned, it gets eaten by nature, sort of like a Jumanji vibe. And I think Cambodia is like it sounds to me like, if correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like Cambodia is pretty much the same.
Yeah. It's an extremely harsh landscape. What's interesting is the sites that I believe are the oldest, the pyramids and a couple others, they weathered the jungle remarkably well. There wasn't a great deal of reconstruction required on those sites compared to some of the sites that I believe are newer, that the trees just ate up and ripped down. So that's a testament to the quality of the craftsmanship, right? Even with the jungle at its toes, for hundreds and hundreds, thousands of years, it didn't really take that much work to make them look like they look today.
Yeah, and you know, Cambodia is very interesting because just like you said, there, some of these things have weathered the jungle and the overgrowth and things really well. Cambodia also has some of the best examples in the world of just what nature can do to sites, with trees and different stuff like that. I mean, you know, these sites that are famous for the trees growing up and wrapping around them. I mean, some of the coolest pictures I have from my travels are in Cambodia, at those sites where you have trees completely, root systems enveloping the entire structures, and then trees growing out sideways and different ways from
the
them.
famous Ta Prohm temple, which is the Lara Croft temple with the little dinosaur. Yeah, I mean, that one was just obliterated by nature. That is one that I believe is newer. I think if you go there and you look at the construction techniques used at Ta Prohm, it's completely different than the sites that I think are older. And actually, while we're on that topic, let's talk quickly about. So this is one of the things, again, that I noticed on my first trip. And like I said before, I think that this is one of the ways you can at least relatively date these sites. So like, this is a really excellent example. This is at Bantier Sray, which is the famous red sandstone temple with all the carvings. You can tell by looking at these window dressings, or I call them spindles, that they're lathed. You can see the lathe marks on them. They're machined. Not only can you see the lathe marks between them, but if you look across the spindles, they have the same designs. You know, it's like the machine had a program, and they put the lathe in there and they ran the program, and then they stuck it up and they put another one in there and they ran the program. So it looks the same as you go from spindle to spindle. Whereas if you were carving these with hammers and chisels, like they say that they were, you would think that the design would have changed even between the spindles, right? You wouldn't have done them exactly the same, or I don't even think it would be possible, but yeah, you can see that. So here's another example, you know, clear lathe marks. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally impossible. Like, even if you were using some kind of, you know, like using water technology, like pushing water quickly over, there's no way you could do that without some kind of intelligent machinery to replicate it that perfectly every time.
I mean, the lines are right there. It's amazing to me sometimes that we're even getting in a debate with people in the academic field when I'm looking at it.
Yeah, you see it with your own eyes.
Like, with my own eyes. Like, what are you talking about? You know, chiseling these things. This is, you know, the lathe marks are on it. So it's like, what are we even having the conversation about? Like, how is this not just fact? And I'm sorry, but when you start getting into stuff like this is where we start having an issue with the other side, right? Like, this is where we start saying, you know, this is where you start breeding conspiracy and ideas of there being people that are trying to control narratives, and because I have eyes I'm looking at it right now. And so you can explain it as much as you want, and it's not going to make sense because I'm looking at lathe marks. So it's just
such an insult to intelligence.
Yeah. But sell your book. I don't know.
This is why I would have a hard time being an archaeologist, because I would look around at all of my coworkers and I'd be like, do you see this? I see it. Do you? Yeah. But yeah, it's so the nice thing about starting to do this analysis, so this is what I was talking about earlier. If you make the assumption, and it's just my theory, that the oldest spindles are the most elaborate, the machined, the best versions, then you can start to say, okay, well, these spindles don't look nearly as high quality as the ones on the left. Ta Prohm, the one we were just talking about, the dinosaur temple, they don't even make spindles there. It's just a likeness of a spindle carved into the stone. It's not a standalone window dressing. Air doesn't go through it, and then the brick, they're clearly trying to replicate spindles. They just can't remember how to do it. So I think it's an opportunity, and you'll see this across lots of different things in these sites, to say, okay, I theorize that this one is the oldest. And so the other sites with the spindles that look just like this, they're probably old too, right? And then you can relatively age and date these sites based on your assessment of the technology.
Wow. That's so cool. And it just it's just what it feels like common sense, but it blows my mind that it hasn't been part of the normalized scientific narrative until now. It's just kind of crazy. Even if, we're talking about casting, like if they used a cast to make these things.
Yeah, and I think that's where we start getting into politics and cultural pride. Because what we're really saying is that, the people that are attributed to this and their culture and the pride behind that didn't actually create the original structures.
Yeah.
And so that's clearly going to, be difficult to navigate in terms of not just with, or, having an argument with an archaeologist about whether these were lathe or not, but holding on to the cultural identity behind some of these things. And that's where it starts getting really difficult. I mean, it's a lot of the stuff that I ran into with, going over to Turkey and documenting these sites over there. They're a perfect example of trying to grow their tourism industry based around these archaeological sites. And there's a real clear motive to hang on to the historical narrative there, because it ties into a sense of cultural identity for that country.
And
it is.
My response to that, and I've certainly received my fair share of comments on my videos saying all sorts of very nasty things.
Never read the comments. Don't read the comments. Don't use AirPods and don't read the comments.
So many of the comments are so good. I have some people who have blown my mind in the comment section and in my personal emails to me, where they do this research. They don't have a channel and they just want to share it. So I read it for that, and hurt people. But my response to that specific topic, Mike, is even though you see similarities at sites all over the world, you also see differences. There's a theme in Cambodia. There's a different sort of vibe in Egypt. There's a different vibe in Peru. I think it's okay to say, yes, it is your cultural identity. What you see in your country, like in Cambodia, the Khmer people are extremely proud of their sites. Like they love having tourists there. They love showing it off. I think it's still their ancestors. It's just, I think, much older than the official storyline. There was a specific culture that lived here that developed things here in a very precise, very advanced way that you don't see anywhere else in the world. And so it's still their ancestors. In Egypt, it's still their ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to take that away from them just because you extend the timeline.
Yeah,
Right.
I love that.
And I think also it's,
So well
if we're
put.
talking about a worldwide, I don't, when we talk about a worldwide civilization, I don't know that my thought process is that there was some like worldwide civilization that was one thing.
Yeah, it wasn't homogenous in that way.
No, but that it was more like it was people were in communication worldwide and sharing technology and trade and understanding. And then so you have these base features of how things were constructed, how they were done, and things like that. And then you look around the world, like you were just talking about, and every place has their own little flair, if you will, to how that was implemented. And so there's these differences, which, could be looked at as cultural differences at the time. 100%. So this is,
I don't think it necessarily has to be a story, like what Graham Hancock faces with, you just think it's just white people that did all this. We don't know what color the people were. They might have been blue. Who knows? Who knows who built, the obelisk in Axum? I don't know who built that, but we should ask the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
100%. And I mean, like, that was always the funniest thing with like Graham's work. Everyone's like, "But you're a white supremacist." It's just like, well, he's not in his private life. And he's literally just reiterating the stories from these different cultures, talking about the people who brought that knowledge. They also talk about giant gingers that came and brought some of that knowledge. But let's ignore the cultural stories of these, different tribal groups and different cultures and their history, and let's just talk about what the white man wants. That was always my favorite thing about
it's just it's a fast way to try to shut somebody up. It's lazy. It's lazy. Like, actually come back to Graham with some actual legitimate arguments for why his theories are wrong. Don't just call him a racist. It's lazy.
It's lazy.
Yeah, none of them can, and that's sort of the funniest part.
I'm sorry, I just read something in the comments. The white supremacist giant ginger aliens.
Now that is a book I would read.
Yes. The white supremacist giant ginger aliens and how they invented pyramids.
Mike could turn it into a rap song for the background in his videos.
There you go. We'll have Sammy do a whole intro with that. So I don't want to skip us ahead if you have something else, but I'm interested in.
I've got.
You talked about, and we can go to this later if you still have more, but the connection between Cambodia and India.
Yes, let's go there. So that's actually my next slide.
Ooh.
So at Kokare, which is the site that's 100, 200 miles northeast of Siem Reap. So it's a 2-hour drive to get up here. This is the site that I just released my most recent video on.
Mm-hmm.
This is called a linga. I think everybody generally knows what these are. That they are very, very common in Hindu temples. They're small versions of these are all over Angkor Wat, all over India. But I guess that's my point is at Angkor Wat and all of the other sites, these are small. These are like 2 feet by 2 feet, and they're short. At Kokare, they're giant. I mean, you can see me in this photo and how big this linga is compared to me. These lingas, there's 5 of them at Kokare, housed in these. I'm 5'8".
For scale, that's
It's
massive.
It's huge. It's housed in this structure, and I'm telling you this for a reason because we're going to talk about India.
Mm-hmm.
This is facing north. The spout is facing north. It goes through the north side of that building, and it comes out the other side. All of these structures are roofless as well. So if you're thinking about this with water would fall down on top of the linga and flow out the north side of this site. So there's 5 of these in various states of disrepair. This is the nicest one. I was schlepping around the site, just poking my head into the back. I went there once with Derek, and then I went back the next week because I was so fascinated by this site. So I was by myself. And when I'm by myself, I I wander around and I look at all the stuff that you're not supposed to look at. And this linga was just lying inside like a fenced off area by a picnic table. So you can see the scale of it because you can see that hard hat next to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's another linga this hill that's on the east side of the Eastern Beret. So we were talking about that water feature earlier that had the mounds.
Yeah.
This hill is just to the east of that. And if you hike up 650 stairs to the top of this hill, which was really hard because I had the flu. So I was just coughing and wheezing and hacking my way up this hill, wondering if it was man-made.
Yeah, you look happy.
as I was hiking up it. And at the top of this hill is this linga, which is even bigger than the ones at Coquerre. And these are a true mystery. If you go back to Coquerre, so I've got a picture of a linga. There was one on top of the pyramid. There was one on the south side of the Beret, and there were 5 in alignment just east of the pyramid. It was a very deliberate alignment of these massive lingams. And that's super interesting. I hadn't seen it anywhere else. But then I was researching some of the giant lingams in India. And I just learned like 2 weeks ago that these exist because everything in India is very difficult to research unless you go there. In India, there is this temple, Ojeshwar. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. We need somebody who lives there to tell us. Yeah. So you can see the outside of this. The original stonework of this temple in southern India is the darker stonework you see in the middle. It was also a roofless temple. They called it unfinished because it didn't have a roof. And inside of it is this. And that is not an AI photo. Those are people at the bottom of this linga. You can see there's a picture of, they've rebuilt a lot of the roof. And right now the roof is completely enclosed. They built all over the top of it. But it used to be a roofless structure where this massive linga, I would think maybe one of the biggest ones in the world, was facing north. The spout is facing north. And it feels to me like these are the same. So on the left is the Indian linga. You can see I put the little symbol in the map. Just north of that, there were these man-made dams that were, this is like 10 kilometers of man-made dams north of this linga. It's the same exact thing at Coquerre. You see the lingas there. I put the little photo there. They only discovered this 7-kilometer long dam at Coquerre by using LiDAR. They didn't know that it was there before. They thought it was a road. And after they scanned LiDAR, they realized that one of the largest reservoirs in Cambodia had been created by this 7-kilometer long dam. And it's just north of this massive lingam. And then in India, you see the same thing. Look at the stonework. I'll go back one slide. This bottom right photo is the stonework of the man-made dam in India. It's a huge earthwork. It created a reservoir that was just massive. And so these sites, there's too many similarities to say that there wasn't a connection to India in deep antiquity. But also, I spend a lot of nights just wondering what were these for. These had to have had some sort of a energy production, mechanical, some sort of purpose to be this big, to look the same. They even have the same, see the symbol on the front of it, carved on the front. If you look at this photo, on the left, you can see the same symbol carved in the front.
Yeah, but even
it's the same.
The last photo you just went by really quick, that one, the way it's carved on the side, kind of, is that the same type of shape?
Yeah, it's a 4-sided base.
Yeah.
It's an 8-sided middle section, and then it's a round top.
That's wild.
That is.
Huh.
Again, that blends into mass production or Oh my God, my brain's melting. I don't even know.
In the ancient Hindu epics, which I have started to read and which are fascinating, if you ever want to dive into something that's truly, it's a massive page turner. But in these epics, they talk about the lingam and they describe them as a pillar of fire. Okay. So I think in these ancient texts, they're telling us what they were.
Right.
And since then, we've just called them a ceremonial object. And we have forgotten the real history of what these things are. And when you go there, you know, they're like, yeah, these are big. And that's all they say about it. They don't talk about what they could have potentially been used for. Archaeologists spend their time instead arguing, did the structure originally have a wooden roof? Was it originally roofless, or did the roof get stolen and reused somewhere else? You know, they don't talk about what did this actually do.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything is religious and a temple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything's religious and a temple. And instead of focusing on the roof, I mean, the first place my mind goes to when you brought up the sort of epic and the fire, I mean, it could have been used sort of, you know, to harness, oh my God, pregnancy brain, lightning. That sort of like electromagnetic energy that's like all around us. So what could have plated the linga that would have done that has probably been stolen and, you know, repurposed over whatever timeline. Like there's so many different versions of that you could theorize.
It's interesting. Yeah. So somebody left me, speaking of helpful comments, somebody left me a comment on my co-care video and they said that they find it interesting that it's tradition to take your shoes off when you approach a linga.
Ooh.
And so was that because you needed to be grounded to be close to these things? Right? Did that original take your shoes off when you get close to these things, otherwise you're probably going to die?
Yeah.
Did that turn into a religious concept later as a way of honoring the lingas, you know, in Hinduism?
God,
which is the case, just shows that there hasn't been a progression of understanding throughout our history. There's been a, you know, if anything, it's, you know, there's been a clear dip.
Yes.
In technology, understanding, and we've had to work our way up, which again points to a massive worldwide cataclysmic event that,
yep.
You know,
with some yuga cycles mixed in there.
And the yuga cycles is really interesting because it's it explains so much and it fits so perfectly with these timelines. And you know, I've seen some fascinating presentations on the yuga cycles, and it's really interesting. If people aren't familiar with that, they should really do a deep dive into it. Go down that rabbit hole. You'll on YouTube. You'll enjoy that.
Or read the book Yuga Shift.
Yeah.
Can we get like a little surface level just for everyone, me who doesn't understand what you're talking about?
Well, but while you're doing that, Sammy, can you bring up find a depiction of the yuga cycles? It's YUGA.
Yes.
Do you mind, Cassie?
You want me to?
Yeah, explaining about the yuga cycle.
Yeah. So the concept behind the yuga cycle is that we're in these 12,000 year cycles.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
At the peak of the cycle, humanity is, you know, it's like the golden age, and so you have
that's a good one.
You have different. I mean, my key takeaway with the Yuga Shift book is I was thinking about it with respect to these ancient sites and some of the skills and abilities that humans must have had if they were the ones building these sites. So they talk a lot in the past about telepathy, right? They talk that there are stories about people singing stones into place. 12,000 years ago, our brains were literally bigger. I mean, they've gone through like the fossil records of humans and shown that our brain capacity over the last 12,000 years has literally just shrunk. So we are dumber than we were
Mm-hmm.
12,000 years ago.
I believe it.
So yeah, the ascending and descending. So you know, at the top in the Satya Yuga, or the gold cycles, it's generally believed that you're a much more peaceful society, that you have much greater abilities, you can speak to each other telepathically, and you descend into the silver, the bronze. You know, Bibu's theory, the guy who wrote Yuga Shift, his theory is that we're right at the bottom of this circle right now,
But
just getting ready to reascend. Yes. Which, you know, I'm sure everybody feels like they're, you know, I believe that we are waking up right now. I think that our civilization is saying, okay, enough of that, enough of the stories, enough of the narrative. You know, I think there's a resurgence in psychedelics. There's people talking about the stuff that we're talking about. I believe that we're now and so does, you know, Yuga Shift says this too. We are now getting ready to ascend, but we all chose to incarnate right now at the very bottom of the Yuga cycle, in the darkest time in human history with regard to our closed-mindedness, our inability to move stone with sound, our inability to speak with each other telepathically. All of that has been lost, but theoretically, we will regain that as we move through time back up to the top of the cycle. Mike, what else would you have to say about that?
Yeah, just none of this will we experience in our lifetime. This is such a huge cycle.
Yeah.
You're not going to see any massive changes unless you're at the end of an age, right? So, you know, I think that there's a lot of, you know, so if you know, if you're looking at this cycle right here down there at the Kali Yuga in the middle, it would have been like wherever that cataclysm happened for us, the complete wiping out of everything. That's the lowest point. And since then, we've been building back up. And so, you know, the idea is that we're somewhere now in that overlapping period between the Kali Yuga and the Dwapara Yuga, and coming into that. But then you've got another 2,400 years before you get to that next level of advancement that they talk about in this Yuga cycle. So, but you know, when you take and maybe I had that wrong. The wiping out of everything would have happened at some point before then, if we're going back like 10,000 years or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it would have happened in the, you know, in the gold, the Satya Yuga, the gold portion. And then we would have so if you think about megalithic sites, those were, I believe, built mostly pre-flood, or at least some of them pre-flood.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been the carryover, you know, of the gold, the top of the Yuga cycle. They would have been building those things. And then you see the quality decline over the next 12,000 years to today.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. And then I think I saw someone briefly mention Praveen. Praveen's got some great videos on stuff like this. Praveen Mohan. So if you're wanting to do deep dives into stuff in India, he's amazing. I've always thought Praveen's just an absolute genius with his work.
And he gets out to sites like these. You know, I think he's one of the only ones that does. I'm trying to psych myself up for a trip back to India. I used to travel there a lot. I used to travel there a lot for work, and so yeah.
It's a very
I'm gonna go back.
Yeah.
I've been trying to. There's two places that I think I get a lot of crap for. Well, I don't get a lot of crap. I give myself crap for not having visited, and it's India and Greece. And those are two of the places.
You've never been to Greece?
I'm changing that this year. But
okay, yeah, I was gonna say.
But I've tried to get to India. It's my top destination, and it always has been of a place to visit. And 3 different times I've tried to go out there, and some kind of crazy circumstances happen where I've had to cancel the trip. What I kind of realized was, I think it actually worked out well, because what I kind of realized, these were like 2-week-long trips I was planning. And now I'm like, when I do go out there, I'm going to go for like a month or 2 months.
Yeah.
because it's just so massive and there's so many sites that doing the whole country, you would need several months.
The stuff in India is really special. I mean, even if you see the size of this versus what's in Cambodia, clearly this was the original, the OG, the biggest, baddest, that was then being replicated, I believe, at Kokera.
So what's other than the lingas, what's are you pulling other connections between India and Cambodia in your research?
I mean, of course, there's lathed pillars. That's the same. Of course, Hinduism and the iconography is the same.
Right.
And so there's so many connections that I think are just generally explained away as the Khmer people adopted Hinduism. Now, there are similarities, but you can tell, like we were talking earlier about it being a specific culture. There's also things changed as they moved into Cambodia. And so, yeah, I think, if you're going to name one civilization that has the closest ties to ancient Cambodia, it's got to be India for a variety of different reasons.
Wow.
Well, you see this as well at certain sites in China.
Yeah.
The figures and different things, there's a huge Indian influence, at least as far as Hinduism, in China as well.
Yeah, and the sites in India are misdated the same way they are everywhere else. They claim that they're so much newer than they actually are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my favorite's Yangshan Quarry, which is one of the first places I went to and traveled to, that in the long UKs. And Yangshan Quarry, I think, is the date they put on that is like the 1600s. But this is a quarry that looks, like other ancient quarries. It just doesn't match up to me. You've got the same type of tooling marks underneath these massive quarried stones and blocks and nubs and all sorts of stuff there. But plenty of connections. India definitely, strikes me when I look at things all over the place as the older civilization influencing so much around it. Such a large area, and it, all over the place. Seems like an epicenter.
Yeah. And there's so much flatland in India that could so easily have been wiped out with a giant flood. You wonder how much has been lost.
Wouldn't it be great if they did a LiDAR campaign in India?
Oh my God.
I'm putting it out. Let's put that out into
Let's put that out there. Praveen, make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, LiDAR drones and stuff like that are getting less expensive, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can LiDAR stuff from your phone now, which is incredible.
What we need is Elon Musk to do SpaceX LiDAR, where you just go on and instead of it being like Google Earth, you just get automatic LiDAR of everywhere. I'm going to tweet at him about that one day.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
It would be amazing. Did I please.
I was just going to say there's one other as I've gone through my research, there's one other thing, which are the ancient statues that are found in Cambodia that I think could potentially point to global connections. And there are just some things I've noticed about these statues that we could talk about if we want to stay on the topic of how could Cambodia potentially have been linked to these other countries.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Okay. This isn't that. This is a rare form of sandstone called greenish graywacke, which is, for all intents and purposes, effectively granite. It's extremely hard. It polishes up really well. And one of the things that Derek and I noticed when we were there is all of the coolest kind of out of place artifacts are made out of this same material. So here's another one that we just found at the side of, it was just like discarded at the side of Kokera, out of sight, out of mind. But if you look at the precision here,
that's crazy.
It's really crazy. And there's one pyramid, Takao, in Cambodia that's actually built out of this. Again, I only know this because I was touring it before the rest of the tour group got there, and the guide that I was with said, well, my grandma, they call this the granite grandmother. And, you know, they call this pyramid, all of these structures on the pyramid are made of this very rare sort of sandstone that's extremely hard. It's so hard that you can tell it almost looks like a transformer, like it wasn't carved into intricately the way that others were. But this pyramid is directly on the west side of the Eastern Beret. It's in that line that we were talking about earlier. You know, so did they build this pyramid out of this material because it had certain conductive properties, being right next to the water? You know, again, it's so many mysteries there that nobody ever talks about.
That's amazing.
I'm going to do a future episode on this one, so everybody stay tuned. Okay, so here are the sculptures that we found primarily at Kokere, the pyramid, and all of the other pyramid sites have statues just like this. They are remarkably similar. They're extremely high quality. They almost look machined. Almost all of them were looted from Cambodia. So the ones that are left, you don't see at the sites. You see them in private collections. You see them in museums. And I think most of them have just straight up disappeared. We don't know where they are. So these black and white photos are all from the 1930s when they were originally excavating these sites and finding these statues. And as you look at them, you can just see the quality of them. One of the things that I think is interesting is if you look at their hats, a lot of their hats actually look like the Angkor towers or some of the temple towers. Like there's a really interesting connection, I think, between these statues and some of the architecture you see at the other sites. But you know, this material, you can polish it up. It's extremely hard. Like these statues were found at Bantier Srey. You know, these also were found at Bantier Srey, and they're all super consistent and they're all perfect. I mean, you can see the musculature on their chests. You can see, I mean, the way that they're all sitting, it almost looks like a machine made them, right?
Yeah.
Again, here's some more just incredible detail. These were found at Bantier Srey. They're not there today. Everything you see at Bantier Srey, which is the pink sandstone temple, those are all replicas. None of them are original anymore. Again, some other interesting ones. And you really find most of these photos by looking through the old archived archaeological photos. At Kokere, this statue was, you know, it was like, what, 8, 9, 10 statues that are all probably 15 feet tall. They were in one tower just east of the pyramid. And the point that I was making with these slides is that you can see the original OG ones and the quality of those. And then as you get to the newer sites, the ones that I think are newer, the stuff that was excavated are the photos that are on the right of each of these, which are clearly just imitations done with inferior stone at a later time. You know, they tried to honor what they saw, but they couldn't replicate it.
It kind of reminds me of like, you know, and you see those like terrible paintings of Christ that people have done. Like, remember that one that went viral years ago? That woman was like, oh, I can repaint this. I can like fix this. And it was just awful.
Yeah.
It's
you can tell it's somebody just trying to reproduce it and they just can't.
Yeah.
You know? So back to our spindle discussion earlier, if you look at the excavation reports of some of the temples that I think are newer, like Tapram, those are the kinds of statues that were excavated there. It's just very inferior. So again, you can relatively date these. So here's where I'm starting to get into, gosh, do these have similarities to some of the things you see in Egypt or Sumeria? So this is one of the giant statues that was at Kokere on the left. You see the the kind of nice, serene smile. You see the strong brow ridge. You know, they've got like the chin strap beard. They've got like a corner on their hairline that's the same. It's a very similar look. I'm not saying it's the same, and I'm not saying that it was the same culture that made them. I'm just saying, gosh, isn't there a striking similarity here?
Mm-hmm.
Again, another Cambodian statue next to another Egyptian one. You know, the hairline, the beard, the smile, the brow. It just doesn't it remind you of that?
The expression, it's the same. It's like they're looking down with like a level of love. It's like an unconditional love and kindness, especially in that smile. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to cultivate that kind of emotion out of stone.
Right.
And that's pretty freaking cool.
Even the ears are the same. Look at the way the top of the ear loops down. You know, the one on the right's a little bit damaged, but it's the same.
Those are some pretty high ears too on the one on the right.
Yeah, they really are, aren't they? They're up above the eye.
Yeah, they're way up there.
I think,
Never gonna look at that the same again.
Yeah, if that was a person in real life, I'd be a little freaked out.
There's even the same line on the neck. You know, behind his beard, there's like a neckline. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. And then, you know, to keep the similarities going, and this is again something I haven't talked about in any of my videos. You know, these are the Lamassu, the ones. A lot of them are in the British Museum. If you look at the hair curls, and I tried to point these out with arrows, don't they look almost exactly the same? Like the bottom left and the lion curls, they're identical.
Yeah, that's a style that's been.
It's a style.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a fashion statement for sure.
Even the brow, look at the brow ridge on the two on the top, you know? Very similar, same serene smile. They've got that top of the yuga look to them, don't they? Just very at peace. Very
they really do. Like, they don't seem like, when you, like, the more modern you get, the more benevolent, I guess. I'm just glad they don't carve many of our leaders out of stone these days. All the women would have extensions, even though I want extensions. And all the men would have toupees. But it is
amazing similarities here.
So the lion feet, I've seen lions in real life. Their paws don't look like that.
No.
Yet these lions nearly identical in the way that they've been carved. I even did a nice up close. This was a photo on the right, one that I took at Bantier Stray. It was like an old, broken, ancient, you know, one of the first OG lions. It's just exactly the same.
It looks like a Hemingway cat with the extra toes.
Do lions have? Wait.
I'm supposed to have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then they have the one down here.
Isn't that interesting?
And they have the 5, which is, pretty much just the Hemingway cats that I can think of.
And the one on the left has 4?
1, 2, 3.
Well, there's 5 on the front one that has the arrow. You can see 5.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this one, the angle, you can't really tell if it's 4 or 5. But
somebody in the chat tell us.
I've got 2 cats in here right now. They'll tell us.
See, I'm a dog person, so I never noticed the 5 toes. This is why we have conversations like this.
Yeah, that's so weird. Well, the only reason I know is because I had a friend that had a Hemingway cat, and they just look odd. Like, they're so cute, but they're odd. And there's some island.
What a Hemingway cat is.
I don't either.
That's super cute. They have. Let me see if I can get Gravy.
I'll pull one up.
Okay. Okay, it's about to pop.
Right now. But I don't know if you can see on Hemingway's like got the
they got little.
Gravy's got the 4 toes, and then it's like they have an extra one in the middle. Show. There we go.
Oh,
Hang
okay.
out for a minute.
Little weirdo cats.
It's like it's wearing a glove.
Yeah. Little weird cat.
Yeah. 5 fingers.
Opposable thumbs.
His mittens.
That's interesting.
So I guess it's not quite the same, but still.
Yeah. Huh. We somehow every show that we do now, cats somehow get on screen.
As they should, Mike. Yeah, and you know, the last comparison is this one. Just the stance.
Yeah, interesting. And he's got wings.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar, isn't it?
Is that what he's got on his back?
It does have wings, yeah. It has wings. The one on the right has wings.
He has a beak.
Yep.
So
it's a very specific sculptural style, again, that you see at the oldest sites in Cambodia that nobody talks about.
Are his legs scaled? Is that just pants?
I think he's here. I think I've got.
And
let's go back to the ones that I had, like these. Yeah, it looks like it's
kind of scaled.
Yeah, he has wings. The other ones don't. Yeah, they're all a little different, but they're all the same. Different, you know. One's a bird, one's a lion, one's a monkey. So you have to ask, you know, did they develop all these similarities just by chance, or was there a common influence?
Yeah, right.
I think there's got to be a common influence, right? I mean, look at like artwork during the last, I don't know, let's say like 300 years of kings and queens around the world, all kind of a similar style, all trying to one up each other.
Yeah,
you know.
One up, or at least copy the versions, you know, that they saw as the best.
If we go back into some of the most ancient writings, especially in like Egypt, but even in things like the Bible and different stuff, they talk about different types of beings. You know, and India has a rich history of things like that. You know, these monkey men and things and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
that's why the Hindu epics are so fun to read.
Right.
I highly recommend them.
Are you familiar with Adam's Bridge?
No.
Sammy, can you try to find Adam's Bridge in India?
Yeah.
It connects Sri Lanka and India, and there's the an Indian tale of a king. And I may get this wrong, but I think I'll get it generally right. People can go look at it if they want, but
it's Rama and Sita, right?
Yeah, it's actually a natural structure. If you actually bring it up on, there it is. That's
there it is.
Picture, one up there. That one's a good one.
This one?
Yeah. Or even that, but you know, for forever they said that this is a natural formation, and there's an Indian epic that talks about this king's queen being kidnapped and taken over, and they built a bridge over there to go rescue her, and utilized the Monkey Man Army or something, if I'm getting that right. And they finally looked into it and realized somebody went down there and realized that it was man-made.
Wow.
So this massive structure underwater there that used to be a bridge. It lines up perfectly with these ancient stories.
How much of our history is just lying in the ocean?
Oh gosh, I know, right?
I've got to get over my fear of the ocean so that I can start scuba diving.
You too.
Those places.
You guys both have a fear of the ocean.
I hate it.
Is it the sharks, or is it the depth, or
all of it? Yeah, you're not, as a human, you are about as ill-equipped in the ocean as you could possibly be.
That's my thought exactly as well. And you can't clock. You're out of your element, and you can't.
Everything's better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to Japan this year, but it looks like I may be lining up another Japan trip for the following year. I haven't told you guys this yet, but I'm going to try to get scuba certified for 2027 trip to Japan to do Yonaguni.
Oh, that would be so.
We're doing it. We got to do it.
Mike, you've got to go do some psychedelics, get to the root of your fear, overcome it, and then go scuba diving.
I need a vision quest first.
Yes, absolutely.
I think I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna. I don't like it, but I'm not like I won't do it. I've done it before. It's just probably my least favorite thing in the world is getting into the open ocean water, and then couple that with scuba diving where I'm trusting on this equipment to not fail me while I'm like X amount of feet below water. It's a recipe for, I have to sit in the water for a little bit and get my breathing under control. And I still don't. I went snorkeling in Sia Cortez, and everybody was swimming out. We were looking at whale sharks and stuff. And this is on YouTube. You can see this, what I'm about to describe. So everybody's going out and I'm falling behind because I'm got one hand up with the GoPro and I'm filming. And everybody's getting far ahead of me. And the lady in the front's got her hand up in the air for people to follow. They all start turning back around and now they're coming directly at me. And I'm like, oh shit, like what is, and I look underwater and there's this massive whale shark coming directly at me. You can hear me on camera go, I stuck the camera down and pointed it at it, and you can hear me underwater go, and scream. I got the shot, and then I immediately was like, yeah, get me out. I'm done. I got the shot. I'm good. I don't really need to do this anymore.
Do you think
those whale sharks don't eat humans, but they can. They can. Their mouth is big enough. Yeah. It's big enough.
Sammy, are you also scared of the water?
Hell no.
No, not me. I'm like, you can't get me out of it.
So I would live in the water if I could.
Me too. Really? I mean, I get like being scared of like the bends. You know, I would never do like an Ocean Gate type thing. Not just because of what happened, but because like that's how some horror movies start. So I'm wondering if it is just like, was there like a show that was, I don't have the same pop cultural upbringing as you guys, but I'm gonna bet that there was some show that came out when you all were growing up or teenagers or something. Maybe
Jaws.
The same one. Yeah, I was thinking Jaws, something.
I mean, here's what I think. For most of human civilizations past, humans lived by the ocean. And my bet is a lot of them died in it. And I think in all of my past lives, I died in the ocean. And so I remember that, and I don't want to do it in this life.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I had an energy healer once tell me in one of my more recent past lives that I was taken out while living in a lighthouse, and there was a giant wave, and that killed me. But yeah, okay, well, listen to that. I don't think it's not an irrational fear. Let's put it that way. It's like when people are like, oh, you're scared of sharks. That's so irrational. It's like, it's literally not. It's one of the most rational,
scariest ways to die.
Yeah. Like I had a friend who got his arm and his leg bitten off by a shark, and he's like a shark dude now. And does like Shark Week and all of that kind of stuff. And well, he's Australian, so you can't trust those guys. They're all fucking insane.
That's 100% avoidable.
Crazy.
It is.
It's avoidable.
I think it happened when he was in like the military. Yeah.
The ocean is monster soup.
I think Eli's in the chat. Yeah, we were just having a conversation about something, how crazy Australians were the other day. He sent me a video on a guy that got bit by what do they have out there? Crocodiles? And rolled.
Oh, crocodiles. We have alligators here in North Carolina, and I've never seen one in the wild, and I could go the rest of my life and I'd be okay not seeing one. Like, I'm good on that. What is the bug situation in Cambodia? Do they have like a lot of giant spiders, things like that?
Yes.
I mean, there's a wet season and a dry season. So in the dry season, there's no bugs at all. In the wet season, I mean, we got bit by a fair bit of mosquitoes, especially when we were out, trying to find the mounds and things. But I haven't seen any like scary bugs. Maybe some millipedes and stuff. But
I did.
Yeah.
We had spiders the size of my hand in our hotel room that we had to spend 30 minutes moving everything and clearing. Yeah, we killed 3 massive spiders as big as my hand.
Where did you stay?
Yeah, what hotel is this?
The day before we got to Priya Vihir, so way up north.
Oh, yeah.
We pulled up at this hotel. Nobody there. We couldn't find anybody, and we were walking around looking for it. I came around a corner on this building, and there was a guy covered in blood, and he didn't speak hardly any English, and we got a room and locked our doors. Dead bolted our doors.
But I'm scared of a whale shark that famously does not eat people. But I'm going to stay at a hotel with a guy, like, no one there, dude covered in blood. That's the start of that's the middle of every horror movie. That's not even the start of a horror movie.
And we ate at the place down the road, and they just had like frog on the menu. That was it. And there were frogs hopping around everywhere. We're like, we're eating frogs that they just grabbed off the ground. This is crazy.
I would rather be you in the ocean, like with the whale shark, as opposed to you in that hotel.
Yeah, I'd take the shark,
but
that is gross.
The spiders.
Yeah, I think I have a picture of it somewhere. I have to go back through stuff.
I don't need to see the pictures of. I have way too many vivid dreams right now. And
Cambodia is a wonderful place, and everybody should visit there. Despite the way that Mike is suggesting that it's terrifying, it's not.
Yeah. My cousin was there for about, I think it was like 6 weeks when she was a teenager. She worked at an orphanage out there, and we joke that it's the only place that any of us in the family has ever been in the world. She got a ring. I can't wear rings right now because my hands are so swollen. But it has my name on it in Khmer, and she has the same one with her name on it. It's the only place any one of us has ever been in the world where it doesn't say something like shitbag or like idiot white girl. It's actually our name. Which I think is a testament to the Cambodian people.
They're wonderful people. They're the best.
Yeah.
I had the best food. Some of the best noodles I've ever had in my life were on the side of the road across from some temple, trying to get out of a thunderstorm.
Yeah, a good coffee too.
Good coffee. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like a coffee
really
strong.
Yeah, does it grow wild there? I can imagine it's the right sort of climate
for
it.
Do they grow coffee there? I don't even know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't remember ever seeing any coffee.
Coffee doesn't look like coffee though when it grows. That's like the weirdest thing about it.
I don't know. I mean, they have to grow it in the area because they have Cambodian coffee. So
yes, Cambodia grows coffee beans primarily.
Thank goodness for Google.
I know, right? Wait, I feel like we got way off track with your.
I know.
We actually we're done with the slides I had prepared. I just had a couple more from Laos, but we don't need to go there. It's, I think that was an amazing sort of
good way to go.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into questions. You got time for questions?
Yeah.
From chat, Sammy, you got you've been keeping track of that because I got nothing.
Yeah, I've got some saved. If anyone wants to get in some last minute super chats or questions, we got a good amount of questions. Some of them might be we might have to navigate depending on what point of the conversation. But we did get 2 super chats from Word of Mouth Guy.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, thank you, Word of Mouth Guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He said that I've repaired medical devices for 20 plus years. It absolutely looks like a circuit board leaning into Tesla. Nikola, not Elon, obviously.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Elon. Like, let's be honest. If someone just said to him, like, dude, put the coils up, he'd have them up in a day.
Oh, yeah.
Those Tesla coils, but God forbid we should get free energy, especially this part of the Yuga cycle we're at right now.
Yep.
Prob's not the best vibe, but
yeah, and apologies, chat. We are, for some reason, StreamYard isn't connecting the comments to our behind the scenes platform here, so we haven't been able to see them or pull them up, but that's why Sammy's reading them.
Yeah.
thank you, Sammy.
We just got one from Craig as well. He said, "You rock, Cassie. You answered my planned question earlier today. So how about when are you going to put up your Doc Brown time machine poster again? We need you back in time to do research for us."
Referencing the original photo I had on the wall that I caught no end of shit for from the internet. They were like, "I can't take you seriously when there's an astronaut in a DeLorean behind you." And I was like, "Fine, I'll put up a map." So, yeah.
Hey,
I do miss it, though.
People don't know how to have fun.
I know.
Right. Sorry about your ADHD, guys. We'll change the full picture. Hey.
I want the DeLorean back. You can put it up.
I'm gonna put it back.
Yeah. Screw those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and people actually have a problem with the map too, because
oh my god,
it disproportionately makes North America seem bigger than it is, and that's so
you can't win.
People have a problem with everything.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go with the white wall.
People on the internet, the worst.
What else you got, Sammy?
I saved a comment from Irish Chai Town who said, when you guys were talking about just going off into the jungle in Cambodia, they said hard to self-explore Cambodia due to the landmines. I thought that would just be a good side note to include there to not advise people to just go off into
the more recent history of Cambodia, I guess, has for a long time overshadowed more of the ancient history.
Yeah. And that is an excellent point. Even at Kokere, I think there's like 120 temples and you can only see like 18 of them because they haven't cleared the landmines. So don't go just explore on your own. Where we explored was inside Angkor Wat. They've cleared the inside of Angkor Wat of landmines. But yeah, that's a really good warning for people.
Yeah. Luckily, most places are roped off where they say landmine area. But if you're going off trail somewhere really far, then you could run it. I think Cambodia and Laos are some of the most heavily mined areas in the world still to this day.
Yeah,
but that's a great point. Yeah,
I can't remember who I was watching just the other day. This very topic came up in a movie. It might have been Mike OK. Like it showed the locals going out and searching for these things. So pretty crazy. But we have a question from Green Tea 3699. If some of the temples had a functional, practical purpose, what do you think they did?
I mean, my gut says energy. It's interesting because the temples tend to cluster around different mining activities. So there's gold and copper in the north. There's salt at the temples in Thailand. So if you start to map the natural resources around where the temples were built across all of Cambodia, Thailand, and Laos, you can probably draw some conclusions about what they may have been mining and processing in those areas. That's why some of those temples were so far out. Like the one I showed with the LiDAR that goes 100 miles east, that was a major mining area. So not unlike Jeffrey Drum's theories about Egypt, I think they were doing a lot of mining. I think there was some energy and who else? Who knows what else? Maybe some things we don't even remember collectively.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
So cool. So interesting.
That's so cool. You got to make that map as well. I love a good map.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, you know where you are with geography, you know?
Yeah.
And I have a couple questions from Ruby. I
Hey,
might have
Rue.
to pick and choose which ones so we can get through a couple, but let's see. The top one was, does Cassie have a formulated theory on what she is looking at in Cambodia yet, or does she still need more time to formulate it with more evidence?
Every day I'm learning more. Just in my interview a couple weeks ago with Dave and Mike's Multiverse, shout out to them. I did not know that there were giant lingams in India. So it is becoming, every day I'm learning something new. So I intend to go back. I'm actually going to Thailand in a couple weeks. And I'm going to go look at the temples in Thailand. There's a really mysterious pyramid there. So the short answer is I need more time. As Mike said at the beginning, there's an infinite amount of stuff to look at in that area.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll probably be forever evolving too.
Yeah,
there's always more to learn.
You're going somewhere else that I'm actually pretty jealous of. I don't know if it's okay. Is it okay for me to?
Yeah.
Going to Ethiopia.
Yep.
And that is another one of those like I have to go there places for me. And,
well, you should come, Mike. We're going in June. It's me and my brother.
What part of June?
We haven't decided yet.
Say the end of June.
We haven't decided yet. Whenever. Yeah.
I'll be
You
on
guys
a
have
tour.
to go.
I would love to. I'll be on a tour in Japan, and then I'll be over in Indonesia filming after that tour, and that'll go into about mid-June.
Yeah. I mean, we're flexible. I know I need to get there. I have a dream of leading a tour in Ethiopia. The stuff there it just blows your mind. There's 500-ton obelisks. The story is completely wrong there, just like it is everywhere else. So
right.
My brother and I are going in June. Yeah, you're very welcome to join if you'd like.
Let's stay in touch. Yeah. Awesome.
It's gonna be epic.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna make the best freaking videos. Sammy, are you taking notes? Because you have to go on all of these trips too.
I've already told Sammy she's coming with me to Japan, and then she's going through the jungles of Indonesia with me in Sulawesi.
And I'm getting my diving certification to go in the water in Sulawesi. And you might have to try it. You might have to go with me.
Oh my gosh.
If not, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. I'll let you know what I find.
So bad if you did that, and I was just like, cool, just standing on the shore, like, you get everything? Oh my gosh. Sammy's already one up on me,
That's just like low key, like one of my, like finding like ocean treasure, like that's just, that's one of my dreams in life. Anyway.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Another question from Ruby. Are the spindles part of the overall carving, or are they made separately and then fitted during construction?
Good question.
In the older ones, they are separate and fitted. There's like it's not a nub. It's a protrusion at the top and the bottom where it was inserted into the windows. And you'll see, if you travel to Cambodia, there's spindles everywhere, just lying on the side. So you can see exactly how they were built. Again, in the newer sites, they weren't standalone. So I think that's one way you can tell that those are newer.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That makes sense. And then a couple people were curious about where the Indus civilization fits into your observations.
I am reading a book on the Indus civilization right now. There's debates, and I'm totally out of my depth here, but there are debates about the true age of Hinduism. And some people say that the texts are copies of much, much, much more ancient versions of these documents. And many of them point to the Indus civilization as being the beginning of that. So I don't know the answer, but I am curious enough about that exact question that I'm reading a book on it. So I'll let you know once I finish the book.
You got to come back on.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anytime.
Yes, please. Thank you.
On Tuesday nights, we have this like really, really hard personal training session that just destroys me every Tuesday night. And so tonight I got to skip that to do this. So any Tuesday night that you guys want to have a conversation, I'm in.
Heck yeah.
Good excuse.
Yeah.
We'll do one more from Richard Dollum. Is
Richard
2373 any possible connection to Gunung Padang in reference to Angkor Wat, I believe?
I mean, there's a lot of pyramids in Cambodia. There are lots of pyramids in Indonesia. There's a lot of the same iconography. So I think that a connection is very certainly possible. I guess I'll leave it at that. Mike, you've been all these places. Do you have a different thought?
There's a great video. It has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. Basically, somebody just made a video and they theorized what the world would look like if water levels were 1,000 feet or whatever. Like, they took it down on this scale and showed what the world would look like. That whole area, Indonesia, connected. It's all connected. Yeah. And it's not, you don't have to lower the water levels that much. So if there was some kind of flood, you get what we're living in now in those areas. But if we're working with timelines that we are thinking, 10,000 plus years ago or whatever, and there was some cataclysm and sea levels were lower, then all of that was connected.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to, somebody dropped in the chat, I'm hoping to talk with, I think we've got it, I don't know, he doesn't know this yet, but I think I'm going to get to see Danny Hillman when I get over to Indonesia. I'm going to try to set that up, and then I'll be in checking out Gunung Padang in June.
That's so cool. Wait, when are you going to Ethiopia in June?
We haven't decided yet. Sometime in June.
Need to figure it out, because I can start doing my writing and research for the videos now. Woo, we toodles. Yeah.
It is a mysterious place. It was interesting because I did the episodes on Ethiopia and I was getting private emails again from researchers. And they were like, well, if you go there, you need to look at this area because I believe this was the quarry for the obelisk. And the quarry is completely unmarked. But if you zoom in on Google Earth, you can see it looks like a quarry. And so that's one place we're going to go. We're going to schlep northwest of Axum and go check out the rocks and stuff. So
are you going to go see the church?
Yeah, the Lalibela. Yep.
Those are the best and can be the best and craziest emails, because you feel like I feel like I do. I read through every email that I get from people because there's always some amazing stuff in there that maybe I didn't know about. Sometimes I get some stuff I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, I get those too. There are a lot of people out there that know all the answers.
Yeah.
They know exactly what went on in our distant past.
Cassie, thank you so much for coming on. It was really cool to connect with you and go over all this. This was amazing. And
so fun.
This was an awesome hang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We got to have you back. Maybe after Ethiopia. If I go with you, then we got to come back. You got to have you back on to talk about the experience.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I would love that.
Yeah. Cool. Any new videos that you want us to, get into long form?
I am getting ready to publish a video that's very different than all my other videos, and it is about the Clovis Point in North America. And how, to our discussion earlier, the technology in lithic points in North America went from as perfect and technologically masterful as they could possibly be. And then over time, to about 200 years ago, they became tiny. They are not technologically sound at all. They're pretty crappy, to be honest with you. And this is an accepted archaeological timeline of something going from masterful to not. And I think that that's a really interesting lesson for us as we think about ancient sites. So and I actually have some points in my own collection that my husband and I inherited from our grandfathers. And so I'll be showing those on the video. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's so cool. Heck
Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we would love to get you out of that horrible personal training session
Yes.
and hang out again on a Tuesday to talk about that stuff.
It's the hardest thing ever.
You got any tours or anything?
What can we
No.
promote for you?
No tours, just private travel. I'm going to Thailand and then Peru and Easter Island. We're staying at the Airbnb you did, Mike.
Yeah,
So
are you really?
Thank you for the recommendation.
Absolutely.
And then
it's amazing.
Ethiopia.
Get you the ATVs.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-minute drive into town, but you're gonna love it. You got to tell me how much you guys like it.
We're gonna do the North Coast hike. We're gonna do all of it. So, and then I'm spending a week with Brian Forrester in Cusco, touring around all the sites. Just my brother and sister-in-law, my husband and I, and Brian Forrester. So it's gonna be really special.
That's so freaking.
So no official tours, but lots of travel.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Are potentially doing? Are you doing our conferences?
Yes, I'm in. I'm
okay.
All in. Yes.
Yes, you can see Cassie speak in Sedona. Amazing. We got you coming to the Sedona Quest for Ancient Civilizations in May, and we plugged that at the beginning.
We're going to bring our mountain bikes.
Now, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are going straight out for your own vision quest.
Yeah, exactly. So if anybody at the conference wants to go biking, you can come with us.
Perfect.
Oh, awesome. Heck yeah.
Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you so much. It was awesome to see you guys. Thanks for your time. It was really fun.
Wonderful to meet you. I hope I get to meet you either in Sedona or Austin or maybe some wild place in the world. But this was freaking magical. Thank you so much.
So fun. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Bye, Cassie. Yo.
I just create the most wonderful orbit of people. I'm so honored to be part of that orbit. And I love Cassie. Like,
was amazing.
That was really freaking cool. Because she's right. Everyone ignores that part of the world, I feel like. Or not like everyone ignores it, but it's such a...
Well, I think what happens is people just think Angkor Wat, but then you get there and there's just so much more to Cambodia.
Yeah.
And then, these details that she puts so much work into clearly showing us tonight was amazing to be able to see it kind of laid out that way, right? Like, and I'm just speaking from my perspective, I've been there into all these places, but when what she did was take it all and put it in a way that we could all kind of consume and have these and connected in our head. Some of the stuff that she was talking about was really resonating with me. Like when you're walking on these mounds and Cambodia is so overgrown. It's just this massive jungle. It's like everywhere that you go, you're walking through just lush forest and jungle. And so it's hard to make out what you're in the middle of. Right.
Yeah.
And so those LiDAR images were incredible to be able to get a perspective with all that removed. So cool. Yeah. Great show.
That was a great show. Like Secrets in Stone. I mean, the first book I think she's going to end up putting together is going to be amazing. So I'm going to manifest that. Can't wait to see more on Rogan. That'll happen in the next. I wouldn't be surprised if Rogan happens in the next 6 months. Definitely the next year. Like no two ways about that. I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of people end up doing Rogan the week of the Austin conference.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be so freaking cool. I'm including you in that.
He hasn't been. He's been having on smaller creators a lot over the last year, which has been really cool. I love seeing regulars on there that are our friends and stuff that are big names and stuff, but getting other people that are putting out amazing work that deserve that kind of platform and attention is great.
Yeah, it is. It's really special. And like, I don't know, I think Graham Hancock really opened so many doors. As much as I don't like to give Netflix props, they really kind of helped us out a lot, like in this field of exploration with giving Age of Apocalypse a shot because
they need to hurry up and do a season 3.
Oh my god,
What the
don't they
hell?
just freaking Keanu Reeves in season 2? Come on.
Hey, what are we doing?
We're so spoiled. This, like, sometimes I look at this world and I'm like, are we in the worst timeline? And then I think of stuff like that and I'm like, no, we're not. It's pretty good actually.
Well, we want to make sure to tell everybody. Sammy just dropped the link to the Wandering Wolf Live in the chat on the main channel. If you guys haven't yet, I just want to remind everyone we're dual streaming now, but we're going to be moving all of this over to Wandering Wolf Live, which is going to be solely dedicated to our live streams. So the link is in the chat. Go over right now and subscribe so that you don't miss us when we make that change, because we won't be dual streaming on both platforms forever. We want to keep seeing you guys and hanging out.
Yeah,
we
do. And we got so much cool stuff coming out on the OG Wandering Wolf channel too. So I think like a lot of people like obviously send in your super chats during the episode. But if you have any other questions, I want to apologize to anyone that sent me an email in the last month. I haven't read it. Haven't looked at it. It has been a hectic time. Not just
your life's kind of crazy. You've been crazy for a month. It's
I hate being an only child. Me and my husband are both only children, and it's more responsibility, and it's been a lot. But
and you've doubled your animal. You've doubled your monthly animal intake.
Well, like we told you what happened with that bitch across the road calling the police on our freaking favorite cat. So like 10 minutes before I'm about to go on national television, I'm like, why is my cat 10 miles away in someone's house? Turns out it's a freaking animal shelter. That was Tues, by the way, who just like made an appearance, who I had to pick up before he started screaming. And we lost another cat to the road, which was traumatizing, as it always is, which is like,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's the worst. But yeah, so now all freaking 10 of them like in and out of the houses.
That picture you sent me of y'all's living room with the cats running around, I was like, oh my god.
Honestly, if I cared about what people thought, I'd be embarrassed. But you know what? I'm way beyond that right now. Just got to find someone who loves us very much to watch them all when we come to Austin.
You'd have to have like 2 house sitters.
I know. We're actually hoping to buy a house by that point, so maybe they'll all be indoor.
In Texas?
In Texas? Oh my gosh, no. We are officially anchored in North Carolina forever, which I'm cool with. I love it here. Highly recommend North Carolina. Great barbecue. But no.
What? I'm in Texas. You want good barbecue?
You guys have good barbecue. We're not going to get into this debate right now. It's going to be like the beans thing all over again.
We're trying to wrap it
up. What an epic show. I think I know we say this every week, but that was the best one yet. And
it keeps getting better. Our view count was, higher.
It's the highest we've had.
Yeah, it's higher than we've had. I mean, like we said last week, you got to take out the outliers like Graham and Gary. But other than that,
it's the highest, and I'm not surprised because it's one of those things that like it's Cambodia. Everyone talks about all of the other sites. No one talks about Cambodia. So I really want Cassie to write that book because I would inhale that thing. I'll ghostwrite it at this point, like just to get those LiDAR images more out there. Huge. But yeah, it's a great show. Heck yeah, Mike. We'll be back next week. Who do we have next week?
Let's do our teaser and tell everybody what the lineup is. So where are we? Next week we've got Brothers of the Serpent, Snake Bros, Kyle and Russ. Really looking forward to that.
Heck yeah.
The week after that, we have Tim Montana, who is rolling around with me. I don't, you may not know him unless you like rock musicians. He's a big deal, and he was exploring around up there at Sage Wall and stuff with me in Montana and been doing some research on his own up there. So looking forward to having him on. And then Derek, Megalithic Marvels, is coming on February 10th. I'm going to leave it at that because we got quite a bit more, but we're just give you a little taste there. So we got some really good other shows coming up here.
So I'm writing these down, and as I'm writing, I'm like,
it's in Notion. Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to be here, but I will be here in spirit for some of them.
Oh. Could be having a baby.
Could be having a baby. But it could be any of the next 3 weeks. And then I think, yeah, because the 16th is my last day. They'd have to induce me if we haven't gone that far. So we pray not for that. Can you imagine what a horrible bitch I'm going to be if I get to that point? But yeah,
we'll love you through it. Sammi, play us some outro music. Can you do something besides lo-fi?
Ooh, DJ
night driving.
DJ Wandering Wolf.
I have a chill channel. Should we plug that?
It's yeah.
Plug the chill channel.
The chill channel is a vibe. It might end up being my birthing.
I've never mentioned it before, but I have a whole Wandering Wolf chill channel that you can play background music while you're studying or
giving
trying
birth,
to relax or whatever. And it's just Wandering Wolf Chill. That's what it's called. You can go to Wandering Wolf Chill. Let's drop a link. You guys
I like this, Sammi.
there too. This? We got it. There it is.
Shit.
Dropped it in the chat. And yeah, if you guys want to put on chilled out lo-fi and ambient music and stuff while you're hanging out or doing whatever, go over to Wandering Wolf Chill. All right, thanks, chat. You guys are amazing. It was super active. I'm sorry we couldn't see you. Something was wrong with our StreamYard tonight, so we couldn't look in real time at the chat or pull anything up on screen. So we'll get that figured out. We'll probably get that figured out next week. I don't know.
I was just over here with 17 windows open.
Sammi does more work on the back end and does more work than me and Mike combined in every single way, shape, and form. God bless you, Sammi. We would be.
Thank God I have a widescreen computer.
Oh, and I got a book. I got a book coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know if we were allowed to plug it yet. But yeah, just super cash. Gang.
I got my first copy. So it'll be available on, and I'll post about it more and stuff, but it'll be available in the next month or two on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
I'm so excited. It's
Yeah.
huge. It's huge.
Thanks, guys.
Well done.
All right. Well, see you next week.
Bye-bye.
See you next week. Love you all.
Bye.